For years, we've heard the mantra, stay in school, get an education. Knowledge is power, the eradicator of inequality, of racism, of sexism, of wage gaps. The future leaders of this country and world, well-rounded citizens, are prepared to take on the problems and compete on the world stage. Now, if these stories are to be believed, this crisis, this global pandemic is on pace to destroy every chance our children have to start on that path to success. That is, if this was true. I really don't know what to say or make of this year, this time that we find ourselves in. But if there's one thing that I feel very, very certain about is that these are times of great revolutionary potential. In the midst of so much death surrounding us, this is an incredible time to be alive. You've got to find joy, small pieces of joy in the silver linings of life in these moments. For me, I'm finding the opportunities in the bleakest of conditions. One such opportunity that I want to talk to you all about today is school cancellations during COVID. Now, I don't want to say this opportunity in no way obscures the fact that our lives are upside down completely and utterly. Right now, there are millions of parents, mostly poor working parents, who now find their lives completely uprooted, and still millions more kids who find themselves without the meals and the social connections that they so desperately need. I know this. I also know that to see the opportunity here, we have to obliterate the myth of school. Contrary to the accepted narrative, American schools are actually sites of constraint. They're designed to cement the dominant social order in the minds of children. Even the best schools are incubators for compliance. Maybe if you're white or if you're lucky, they prepare you for a future role in the domination, manipulation, and exploitation that undergirds and propels our civil society. If you're black or you're Latino or you're indigenous or you're poor, you're more likely attending a prison masquerading as a school. I want to be clear. They're not preparing you for prison. They're not pushing you into prisons. Now, despite the efforts and the insane amount of stress and love and labor and commitment of our teachers, most of these schools are designed as prisons. Our children know that they're prisons. That's why they rebel against them, justifiably. They're built to prevent social disruption, to prevent dissent, to prevent rebellions, to prevent or to at least contain the very uprisings that we are seeing out on the streets right now. The very uprisings that, in my estimation, are humanity's best hope for a better world. To be clear, this pandemic, though devastatingly stressful to parents and guardians, I know it's very stressful, is an incredibly powerful opportunity to nurture revolutionary potential as it frees our children from the factories of constraint called schools, precisely at the very moments that they now witness the many shortcomings of this economic system, the wealth inequality, the racial segregation and oppression, the planet burning and flooding. Now, how do we do this? How do we create this revolutionary potential in this moment? We encourage our children to question everything. We ask them to share their observations and their emotions about the world. We don't hide our observations and emotions about our world. We shun all manner of numbness and normalcy about this moment. This is a very ridiculous, a very crazy moment. We don't hide that from them. We journey alongside them to unearth the true history of this country. The pillage and the murder of indigenous people, we don't hide that from them. The brutality, the enslavement, the killing, the slaying of African peoples, the racist system that sprung from those twin sins. We build democracy in our homes. Let them vote on what's to eat. Let them vote on what movie we watch, but begin to build a muscle around deciding what their lives look like. You can do that. We can do that inside of our homes right now. Let them vote on anything. It doesn't matter. These small moments are the building blocks for adults who challenge. For adults, right? It starts as a child for adults who challenge, who dissent, who rebel, who are prepared to build the world that each and every one of us deserve. One of my favorite revolutionaries is named Amilcar Cabral. And he has a quote that I love, and it's so important, I think, as we begin to build this next generation of young people prepared to take on and really disrupt in a major and incredible way. He says, you hide nothing from them. You tell them no lies. You expose lies whenever they are told. You mask no difficulties, mistakes, or failures. We've got to build a generation who desires human connection and actualization above material and financial gain. As our country buckles under the weight of a maliciously sabotaged response to the global pandemic, centuries of dehumanization in the name of profit and supremacy, we are presented actually with a perfect opportunity to raise the revolutionary young children generation that we need. To use this moment to prepare our children to live lives beyond the programming and constraint of American schools. To raise children who question, who are moved by concern, who challenge instead of following the social order. Now is the time, in the midst of a global pandemic, in a time where all of our schools are closed and our children are being forced home. Now is the time to raise the children who are going to save us all. Thank you.